Give a warm Top Story Weekly welcome to Tamra Brown. I almost thought I messed up your last name there for a second.
It's Brown.
Right?
Yeah.
It's Brown.
Yeah.
She hosts the Spot at 7 o'clock on Wednesdays.
Yeah. Right? Hi, guys. Hey. Thanks. I'm really excited to be here. I've been having a problem lately with where I've been getting my news. I'm depending a little too heavily on some unreliable news sources, such as my friends' tweets and Facebook status updates. Because, you know, like when anything huge happens, obviously everybody starts posting about it, but with their own quirky little twists. And so what I've been doing, though, is sitting down on my computer and logging onto Facebook, and I'm like, oh, there was a massive earthquake in Haiti. Oh, TV Land is running a marathon of Family Ties reruns. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Now, those two things are of equal importance in my head. Cool. And then I keep having, this conversation keeps happening. Like a couple days after Brittany Murphy died, a friend of mine was like, oh, did you hear Brittany Murphy died? And I was like, I think I heard something about that on the news, but nobody was posting about it on Facebook, so I wasn't sure. Did that happen? So that was real, right? Cool. I was watching the Golden Globes before I got here tonight. Here's what I do. I get celebrity crushes on kind of like random celebrities. And in my head, there's a part of me that thinks like, okay, well, you formed this little obsession for a reason, right? So that must mean that should you meet this person randomly, then you know, sparks could fly. That could happen. And this is LA, so chances are I could be in a bar one night, and my chances of like running into my B-celebrity crush are like 90% higher than anywhere else in the country, right? So my whole thing is that like I'm realistic, so obviously I'm not going to get like a Brad Pitt or a Robert Pattinson should I meet him in a bar, but I feel like I could maybe get like a Dwight Yoakam or like a Sam Rockwell, you know, if I'm particularly chatty one night. But when I was in high school, I had this crazy crush on Tiger Woods. Like I was obsessed with him. I know, and I used to watch golf every Saturday and Sunday just so that I could look at him. And so then, like a few years later, when he got married, I was kind of like, well, that's that then, huh? We'll just let that one go. So you guys, ever since this whole thing has surfaced about him and all of his ladies, I have been kicking myself. I feel like I've been sitting on my hands for the last few years when I could have done something about this. I could have pulled the trigger on this tiger obsession, you know? Folks, just because your crush is married to a Swedish bikini model does not mean that you've lost all opportunity with them. Please, do yourself a favor and keep that in mind. I went to a gun range for the first time in my life recently and shot a gun. Woo! I don't know if any of you have ever shot a gun before, but it's a little different than you'd expect. The thing is, the gun range that I went to, they were surprisingly lax about their rules. They were like, you ever shot a gun before? You load the bullets in here, you'll figure it out. So I'm standing there in this stall. It's kind of like a bowling alley, but like a little more dangerous. And I'm in like my lane, and I'm like loading in the bullets, and I guess I'm being like kind of girly about it. I guess this is how you do it, I don't know. And there's like this older gentleman next to me, and he's kind of, he wants to be chivalrous, and he's like, here's how you do it, little lady, and he's like showing me how to load them in and stuff, and like how to hold it and everything. So I shoot the gun, and when I'm done, he comes over to me and he's like, so, you want a ticket to the gun show? And I'm about to laugh and be disgusted. I'm like, wait a minute, he's asking a legitimate question. He has an extra ticket to the Glendale Fire and Arms show. I'm the asshole here. But another thing about when you live in Los Angeles, you see a lot of girls walking around who wear like the little low-rise jeans, you know, and they've got like their ass crack hanging out. And whenever I see girls like this, like my first thought is like, all right, you want some sort of acknowledgement for this, like you want attention. So my thing is I always pull out my phone and I take a picture, like I'm collecting these snapshots of like the booty jeans, to do my part. And what's happening is the other day I sat down on a bench and this girl with like her ass hanging out comes and sits down next to me and I see it. So I whip out my phone and I like take a picture, and my phone is kind of old, so it still makes the like shutter sound. So you can't really take pictures discreetly. So she hears it. She like whips around. And she's like, "What did you just do? Did you just take a picture of me? What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, you didn't want it. You're the one that's walking around with your ass hanging out. And then I was like, wow, when did I start using rapist logic? I work with a guy who has that habit that a lot of white people have of like properly pronouncing Spanish words. Like he says things like Nicaragua, enchiladas, and it's so annoying to me. He was telling me a story about how he recently burned his hand when he was making tortillas. And I was like, you have to put the accent on the word tortilla. Is that even a Spanish word anymore? Like if you look up the etymology in the dictionary, doesn't it say like Sherman Oaks? But the reason that annoys me so much is because I can only imagine like those people who do that like pronunciation of have to show how exotic I am. Like I can just imagine them standing in line at Taco Bell and they're like, yeah, I'll have one cheesy beefy gordita and go ahead and give me an order of cinnamon twists.